I feel like I'm drowning, financially drowning. So back in April, I had a baby, and I decided to take 9 weeks off. Now, I have had 4 children now working at the same company, so I kind of knew how things went. I took 9 weeks thinking that my insurance was going to pay 8 weeks. But because they run it under short-term disability, you have to be off the week, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's why I took 9. Anyway, long story short, they only paid me for 6. And when they do pay you, it's like a max of $250 a week. So when you go and you have to pay back your insurance on a bi-weekly basis and the taxes that come out of there, you're getting basically $200. So I was not paid very much. The last 3 weeks that I was off, I was paid nothing. Everything that I had saved from my taxes, gone. I spent all of it, everything. That also meant that I was like behind on, I'm a month behind on my car payment. I have a few credit card bills that I was paying the bare minimum and I got behind on those. And so now everybody and their brother is calling me and wants their money and wants their money and wants their money and wants their money and late fees and this and that. It just adds up. It's a spiraling ball, right? So here I was making progress, and now I'm retracted in progress. And then just the other day, my TV broke, and now I need to buy a whole nother TV. And so there's that. And now there's school supplies and the fair's coming up that I take my kids to every year. And I'm paying extra money because I want to send my middle daughter to Washington, D.C. this next spring. So it's financially drained. I don't know how any of you get ahead. I don't know how any of you have a savings. I don't know how any of you get ahead in life at all financially, but I just can't do it.
I just need somebody else to
Really, the way to get ahead is to not do self-inflicting wounds on yourself. The way to get ahead is to not have kids before you can afford them. And you have 4. If things were tough at 3, why do you have more? That's the way to get ahead. The way to get ahead is because you mentioned all these equations and you basically opened up and gave us all visibility somewhat to your finances. And you didn't mention another income on top of that. So that leads us to assume that you're having kids, but the father is not there. And that doesn't mean he's not there for the kids, but it means that he's not there to support you specifically and personally within the same household, is what that tells us. Now, even if that's not the case, it's really not that hard. You wouldn't have debt if you had a savings, right? So you're having kids while living check to check. Listen, y'all, when things get too complicated, I just like to simplify. The bottom line, if we just simplify this to its lowest common denominator, you decided you were going to have kids. You didn't do the equation of how much kids cost. Even if you did the equation and said each kid costs $25,000, which we know it's almost probably 10 times that, $250,000 per kid. Let's just give her $25,000. All you would have to do is say, okay, each kid costs this much. Do I have this much savings? Will you do the number 25,000? Did you even have $100,000 in your bank account before you decided to have 4 kids? No, you didn't. And then you're wondering why you ended up in this situation. It's really that simple. You didn't have money saved, but you decided to have kids. And I would guess that they probably weren't planned, right? But, once you conceive, you decide that you're going to go the whole way through to it. Cool. I'm not going to touch on that. I don't really have a dog in the fight either way. But you weren't protecting yourself and you were actually self-inflicting yourself. Self-inflicting yourself with more responsibilities that's going to make it harder for you to get ahead because that's ultimately what you're asking everybody else advice on, how to get ahead. And you're never going to get ahead while putting obstacles in your way to run the race. Imagine that we're all running a race and you're actually putting obstacles in front of you and everyone else doesn't have obstacles in front of themselves. So if we simplify this down, like I said, to its common denominator, it truly just becomes don't put obstacles in your way while you're trying to get ahead, while you're trying to run a race. win the race, and then you can start taking on more responsibilities. But while you're in the race, you need to be strictly and solely focused on the race. Let's watch the next one.
tell me that they're living paycheck to paycheck and putting themselves into credit card debt out of necessity, not because of fun. I am 28 years old. I work a decent paying job. I love my job. I make good income. We have no kids, me and my fiance, and we're still barely scraping by. Our bills are paid, but we can't save any money. We can't go on vacation. I mean, we do little things here and there, but realistically, we don't really do anything. And we still live paycheck to paycheck, okay? I don't understand how people with kids are doing this. Props to y'all. I mean, seriously, the utmost respect, because I feel like I'm drowning and I only have cats. Any money that we're able to save ends up getting spent on the car, or the cat has to go to the vet, or one of us has a medical emergency. Like, it's just gone. It's gone. I don't understand. We don't live beyond our means. Are we all just collectively putting ourselves into debt because I don't know what else to do?
Hi, my name's Caitlin. I'm
Wow, so that's interesting. So these are literally two polar opposites. The first one we're talking about, it's a single woman and she decided to have a bunch of kids, allegedly. But now we have this case study on this side, and she's actually not only childless, but she also has a partner to help her, right? And they're working together, but basically what she's saying is they still can't get ahead either. And they're living paycheck to paycheck. And here's what I'll say, because what it really just seems like, it seems like she's being impatient. It seems like she's being impatient. And you have two things working at once, because I'm assuming that both you and your significant other are both working. So what that means is, because this is where most people have problems with. Most people have problem with moving through the fog, not knowing when they're going to come out that other side, but continue to move anyway. So then they can also start to put hurdles in their way because they start to become impatient and they don't stay the course. Stay the course. If you're both in a career, the idea is, right, that over time you'll move up in your career, you'll gain more experience, and with more experience will come more opportunities. So, do you really think that if you and your man keep working, that y'all are both working and one of y'all isn't gonna be at least making more money? And let's be real, both of y'all will. In 10 years, you all will both be in a good place and probably be making double, triple the income that you're making now. But you just have to stay down and you just have to stay patient through the process. But most people have a problem staying patient through the process. And what their self-inflicted wound could possibly be if you have two incomes. Because again, we have to simplify, right? I don't believe for a second that y'all can't get ahead off two incomes. Because if we simplify this, what your expenses and what you all's lifestyle should be is the ability to live off one of y'all income. And then you can save the second. Or let's say you are able to live off one and a half of y'all income, and then y'all can save that other half of the other person's income. It's not that difficult. Y'all just have a lot of expenses that are unnecessary expenses, and you don't want to downgrade. And I would even probably argue that you guys are escalating and increasing your expenses as things come up. You see money, so you say we have money and we can take a trip. We can go out to a restaurant. We can go to a concert. But no, you need to be lowering your expense saving. That's ultimately what it is. And you're not decreasing your lifestyle to where you truly are at. You should decrease your lifestyle while also continuing to grow in your career, which would then be increasing your earning potential. And then guess what? When that beautiful day eventually comes, when your earning potential actually does increase, guess what you should do? You should not increase your lifestyle. And if anything, I would say even maybe even look for some ways that you can cut. Look and see for opportunities for ways we can cut. Maybe one of y'all starts working remote. Maybe both of y'all can start working remote. And maybe y'all decide to move to a lower state, a lower expensive state. It's all type of things you can do to get ahead. You just really have to put your heads together, and y'all have two heads, so y'all can create a mastermind. and y'all can strategize and y'all can figure out what makes the most sense for y'all. But you all are in a better position than most people, along with not having permanent self-inflicted wounds. So the main thing is going to be continue to move through the fog. Don't put self-inflicted wounds on yourself that are permanent, and don't borrow. That's all you have to do. Don't do those things and just continue to move through the fog and cut your expenses down, and you'll be all right. But I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy with critical thinking who, when I face a problem, I just simplify the problem and then I get to work. So, y'all like the video. Also, subscribe if you want to join Limitless Legion. Cash App link below if you want to tip the channel. Buy your boy iced coffee. And also, feel free to join the Patreon as well, where I do post exclusive self improvement content that's not on YouTube. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video.